What is the meaning of life? The answer is whatever makes you feel good. And believing anything else but decidedly what I just said, that the purpose of life is joy. It is all positive emotion. And in fact, to become more than we already are through this physical process, which is so incredibly fun. And so the more words you put to it, the less meaning it has. And if you attempt to believe that the answer to this question for you and the words that come to your mind are in any way what any other person needs to understand, then we need to understand that there's a lot more going on here. But the core of it all is well-being and joy and all that there is of feeling good and positive experience and fun and infinite life and just getting exactly what we really want. So we need to understand that the word God, what it points to without what it doesn't point to is the one life that we all are. It's intelligent, it's love, and it's all powerful, and it's all that there is of dynamic positive emotion and its personality. It's just as much a personality as me or any person you could interact with is. And so we all are that. And so the answer for each individual person is what we create it to be. And so we need to understand this paradox that is the fabric of our physical reality experience. And the paradox is that we all, in fact, are the same one God. And I'm going to stop using that word because it's been muddied, but we all are the same one life. All of us. We're all the same exact life. And so in this life, and when I say life, I mean all things desirable, all things positive. So we all are this one life substance that thinks and creates and allows exactly what it really wants. And so the only thing that's really any of our business is what makes us feel good. And just because something makes us feel good doesn't mean that it should make another person feel good. Maybe it could, and if it can, then we can communicate in a loving way, as I'm attempting to do now. But if it can, it won't if we try to impose it. Because you can't flip light switches in people's minds, and you can't make them create the same thing that you're creating, nor would you want to. And there's nothing like that happening here, so we can all let ourselves off the hook. We all are creating and experiencing our own reality. And so, as I said, life is in fact a personality just as cognizant as any human being is, or you could even pick out that human being that you think is the most closest to being sane and aware and awake, or whatever thing good means to you. And life is in fact just as much a personality in the desire and the functions of that which we call personification. It's everything. And it's never been devoid of emotion and personality. So it's time for us to see it and feel it and allow the experience that we wish to experience to be. So this personality that we all are, each individual person is an individuation of this one personality, which in fact then becomes, mechanically speaking, from the perspective and experience of the individual, myself or you or any person this applies to, becomes the only relevant factor towards what is experienced, meaning that that first source and center that we all are is creating everything in response to us, and this is happening for all other people. And so it's all an infinite spectrum, and experiencing life from the perspective of one physical being, everything I'm speaking to, it's what we're born with, an innate understanding of this, and yet because of the comparatively primitive, or the emerging, in fact, evolving, becoming awakened society that we were born into and are still being born into, as new babies are born every moment, what happens is we get trained away from our inner knowing of this, which doesn't need any of the words that I'm using, which I have understood through the past 30 years of life. It doesn't need an explanation. And that's the answer to the initial question: what is the purpose of life? There is no explanation. It's have fun. Why else would anybody do anything? Because it feels good. There's no other logical anything. And so we don't need to understand the nuances and the depths of the words that I'm saying. They're completely meaningless. All words are simply a transmitter of one person's understanding, an attempt. But the finger pointing at the moon is not the moon. So it doesn't matter how enlightened a person is or how inspired a person is. You have to know it for yourself. And so we're born feeling it and understanding it through no ill will of anybody else's. We're trained away from our inner knowing, and then as adults we get to reveal the full puzzle, and this is it. So in each individual person's experience of reality, the people that we love most, our best friend, our lover, our family, our mother, our brothers and sisters, literally every single person we know, they are being protected and guided through this divine love that is all that there is, that all that exists. And so as far as us ensuring that we will in fact ensure their highest well-being, we must disconnect the thought that it's related to us in any way, because it's not. Because in fact every person we interact with in our reality, they in fact are creating their own reality. So no matter how much insight we can have on another person, they need to understand it themselves. And so this is not to say that you don't help people. This is not to say that you do not act when you feel inspired to communicate something to somebody, when perhaps you feel that maybe they would benefit from something you understand. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that you need to let yourself off of that natural desire and let yourself off the hook of making it responsibility, in the sense that there's ever anything wrong, or there's never ever anybody that needs our help, because there isn't. Because what each individual person is experiencing is exactly what is for their highest enjoyment, meaning that they have their own inner being, they are their own God and their own guidance, and so nobody needs a hero to come and save them. If somebody is asking, the hero appears, but you don't let go, okay? Nobody needs to be saved. The world is well. It's not broken. It, the the mechanics of everything that's taking place is going to be exactly the same when everybody on the planet is awakened. So it's not relevant like where comparatively people's consciousness are or the mass consciousness. What's relevant is what feels good to us. So honing in on that just emotional thread of what feels good to us in every moment, the most frivolous, mundane things, whatever it is, we just focus on that exclusively, and naturally everything is always working out for us, for everybody. He